What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Bees, and I'm a wife, a mom, a military veteran, a certified personal trainer, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out, and now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing companies and the tactics used by their reps. Today, we're diving into one of the most gaslight heavy, toxic positivity laced culture calls I've seen from an Amare leader. This isn't just motivational fluff. This is an actual playbook in how MLMs manipulate their teams emotionally to keep them from asking one very, very important question. Where's the money? So grab your happy juice or don't, and let's unpack the red flags together.
All right, you guys, welcome to Workshop Wednesday. I'm going to bring up some slides here in just a second, but I'm actually contemplating, do I want to share the announcements and the sale and all of that first, or do I want to get into the training first?
I'm sure both are terrible, just in my opinion. So does it really matter?
I think I am going to actually swap this around really quickly, and I'm going to do the training first. So give me just a second. This is quite literally a last second switch that I am doing, but all I got to do is click and drag. So it won't take me longer than just a few seconds because I think that this topic is incredibly important. And as I mentioned before, I hit the record button. This is a topic that was just drilled, like literally drilled in my mind over and over and over and over again, in order to really just make me who I am today, as a business partner.
That sounds like indoctrination to me. What do you guys think?
As a leader, gosh, as just a mom, as a wife, as a friend, this topic right here. But I can honestly say that, you know, without what I'm about to share with you guys, without it and without me taking it as seriously as I did, many of you wouldn't be here today.
Oh my God. So she was conditioned to think this way. She was conditioned to act this way. And now she's here to pass that conditioning on to you. Oh my God. She's prepping her team for compliance, in my opinion, not critical thinking, and calling it leadership. And this is also a fallacy called the appeal to tradition. Just because it's how she was taught doesn't mean it's healthy, ethical, or even remotely effective.
I wouldn't be this, you know, 7-figure earner and have made, you know, the impact that I've made through my yes.
Hey, Kenley, how many of your downline are making 7 figures as well? And also, to add on to that question, how much of your income is from your team and how much of that is from selling an Amare product? I would love to know, because I bet a lot of that 7 figures, I bet it comes from your team. Also, is that gross or net? I have so many questions. And by the way, in case you guys are like, who is this person? I didn't know who this person was either until DC covered her. She sent some pretty unhinged emails to DC in the middle of the night. Well, one was at like midnight, one was at like 8 or 9 a.m. or something like that. In the video description, I will have DC's videos linked where she is addressing what Kenley is doing. I thought they were great videos. One of the most disgusting things that I saw was when Kenley was saying, oh, it looks like you could use, happy juice. However she worded it. She didn't word it that way, but she was basically implying that because DC was upset or something along those lines, that she needed 30 days of happy juice on Kenley. Yeah. Ew, girl.
So go ahead and take a guess in one word what you think I'm going to talk about right now.
Recruiting.
What do you think I'm going to talk about? Drop it in the chat. I want to see if there's any guesses. Okay, resilience. That's good. Kelsey says culture. Discipline, culture, consistency, events. It does not surprise me at all that these two ladies immediately guessed it right. And typically we talk about topics a little bit beforehand, but
So that was planted? Why even ask the question if you already knew that they were going to guess that because you guys were talking about it? That's weird.
We didn't. We know I was going to talk about the sale because that's important. We know I'm going to talk about the Amare live event and how to invite for that because that's important. But we're going to talk about culture first. Okay.
Oh,
We're going to talk about culture. So let me go ahead and share my slides.
not the pink bow.
Kelsey and
Is she
Kelly
going to
just
put it in
know
presenter
me.
mode? Oh my
They
God,
just
she
know me.
did.
And, they also know what's super important right now, and what's always important in business too. So culture matters. Okay. The whole purpose. I love this quote. By the way, if you guys are looking for a really great PD book to read, to listen to, I
PD, personal development. Stay indoctrinated. Or don't. Don't suggest it.
do believe the whole thing is on YouTube as well. But if you're looking for some type of personal development, Simon Sinek is really, really good. And he has a book that's called Leaders Eat Last that is phenomenal. So for any of you guys who consider yourself a leader, I don't care what rank you are. Your rank does not determine whether or not you can lead a team. It does.
I'm going to pause her right there because this is a classic MLM tactic to keep low rank reps feeling inspired, even though they are financially in dire straits. They can't all be making money, but they can be called leaders. Why? Because emotional validation is free, and these reps and these companies weaponize it often. MLMs love handing that out in place of actual paychecks. It's actually disgusting. And there's a report, from 2020 done by the AARP, and they found that 47% of MLM participants quit within the first year, usually after earning less than $500 total. That's before expenses. I wonder how much they spent to lead.
Does not determine your leadership ability. Because let me tell you right now.
Let me tell you, why are you getting loud? Are you trying to come across like you're super passionate about this? Are you trying to command attention? You can do that with facts without having to yell, without having to raise your voice at all. People in MLMs will try to transfer their energy by raising their voice and acting overly excited and overselling what they're doing, and it just doesn't work.
There are silvers and above, there are golds, there are platinums, heck, there are diamonds and above who do not have the same leadership ability as some brand partners I know do. Because I've got brand partners that show up better, not me personally, but there are brand partners that even show up better than presidential diamonds. Okay. Your rank does not determine your leadership ability.
I really love that she has the circle of safety. It reminds me of Meet the Fockers, the movie. The circle of trust. The whole purpose of maintaining the circle of safety is so that we can invest all our time and energy to guard the dangers outside. It is so ironic that this is the quote that you picked. When we know, not just based off my experience, but other people's experience, sound off in the comments if this is you, but we know what happens when you leave an MLM company or you go to another one. I mean, I hope you all get out of an MLM company altogether, but we know what happens. It's the same reason we lock our doors at night. Now, if something were legit, if something were so helpful, why would you need to lock the doors at night? And I'm referring to an MLM, not like actually, please lock your doors at night. But do you know what I'm saying? Why would they have to use this quote? And it reminds me of prove it in protecting the house. What are we protecting the house from? People finding out that it's a proprietary blend? People finding out and discovering and exposing the cult-like tactics to keep people indoctrinated so they keep spending money in the cult so the upline can benefit? Is that what we're protecting? Because if so, I guess that makes sense if you're at the top of the pyramid. And I do believe that these are product-based pyramid schemes. That's my opinion.
So if you consider, based upon how you show up yourself in business and in life, I want you, hold on, let me ask this first. Based upon how you show up, I want you to drop.
Who are you telling to hold on? This is a Zoom. You're in control of the Zoom. What do you mean?
The word leader in the chat if you consider yourself to be a leader. Okay. Okay. There we go. I was worried at first. Okay. They're coming in now. Awesome. Awesome. I love to see it. I love this quote from the book Leaders Eat Last. Okay. The whole purpose of maintaining the circle of safety. Okay. That's our team, right? That's our environment. That's our community. The
That's
whole
your
purpose
cult.
of maintaining the circle of safety is so that we can invest all our time and energy to guard the dangers outside. It's the same reason we lock our doors at night.
What dangers?
Because, listen,
What are you talking about? What dangers? Education, critical thinking, people doing profit and loss statements and seeing that, hey, I'm spending a lot more money than I've ever gotten in return from being a part of this company. What dangers are you talking about, Kenley?
anyone that comes into a circle of safety, if they are not meant to be here, they will tuck their tails and run so fast, so fast. They will not be here very long if we maintain a circle of safety based upon the culture that we create, okay? So,
They will tuck their tails and run. What are you talking about? Ma'am, are you okay? This is so weird.
I want to give you guys six reminders, six keys, six important reasons why culture is important and why it's crucial to make sure that you have a lot of intention in, okay? And all of this is so important to business growth and your team growth, okay? Number one, culture is naturally motivating. Okay, it is naturally encouraging, naturally motivating, according to Burson by Deloitte, whatever. 25% of people say that culture is more important than compensation.
I'm sorry, what? Not the battle cry of every leader in a broken system saying something similar. When your comp plan can't retain people, just guilt them into staying for, the culture, the community, the vibe, whatever you want to put in there. Except those things don't pay people's bills. And then you have people like Kenley who say, "Oh, I've made 7 figures and I've helped so many people." Really? How many of your downline have also made 7 figures, Kenley? If you're in her downline, I want to encourage you because you're going to have some strong feelings, and I get it, and those feelings are valid. Do a profit and loss statement. Really look at what you are spending versus what's coming in, if anything at all is coming in. Do the math. If you need an accountant to help you do that, find an accountant in your area. But I'm telling you, look at the black and white in this, because I guarantee you she's at the top of this pyramid and she's going to try and keep everybody in through guilt, in my opinion, just like what we're seeing here, and saying it's, the culture is more important than compensation. Well, why do these people get roped into MLMs to make extra money if they're actually just joining for the culture? The idea of paying to be a part of culture in a multi-level marketing company is absolutely absurd to me.
Without culture, nothing else will come. Maybe it'll come for a short time, but it will not last.
You know what else is not going to last, if it even comes at all, is the income. According to Amare's own income disclosure statement, the majority of brand partners make less than $1,200 annually before expenses, before they buy their monthly happy juice and whatever else products that they purchase. That's before expenses. So $100 a month. And I guarantee you they're spending more than $100 a month on products, because you got to be a product of the product. That's how these people are coached in multi-level marketing.
Culture is more important than money. Okay? The science of motivation has repeatedly proven that money is not a primary motivator. And if you are here for money, well, actually, I should say, if you were here for money, you're not on this Zoom call right now. Because people that come into this business where all they think about is money, and that's their motivating factor, they don't last in this circle of safety. Okay? A motivating culture creates a fun business. Can I get a 1 if you agree? Like if you have an encouraging and motivating fun business, are you going to stay?
People start a business or join a business to make extra income to pay their bills, and there's nothing wrong with that. The idea of keeping people or roping people in for community and fun is wild to me. And also, she's spending a lot of time saying, "Oh, well, people they're coming for the community. You shouldn't be chasing the money." Then why talk about making seven figures, Kenley?
100%. Okay. It increases productivity. There's less, I don't want to say less talk, more action. There's more communication, more positive communication, less, evil little guy on your shoulder talking, right? And
What?
more successful results. Okay. Culture within yourself and your team is quite literally the foundation of any achievement in your business. Also, number two, it's free.
Well, thank goodness. I guess something should be free for these reps that are spinning their wheels to market this product and losing money, the majority of them, according to the income disclosure statement.
Gotta love when things are free, right? But oftentimes the things that are free are not the things that we're consistent in. They're not the things that we put intention in. Why? Because it's free and you don't have any skin in the game. But let me actually make this clear. Building a strong culture is free in terms of money and a dollar amount, yes, but it's not free in terms of your time and your attention. Okay? Because you have to take the time we do as a team, to figure out what are our team values. And then in addition to that, we have to make the effort. I say we, you, me, because this takes a team. We all have to be on the same page here. Okay.
What in the echo chamber is happening here?
To consistently model and encourage these values and behaviors and reinforce them on a daily basis. Okay, that's going to be some of the most important things that we can do. Number three, having a great culture gives us a very strong competitive advantage. Okay, why? Because it allows us to achieve incredible results, because we don't take no for an answer. We don't take laziness for an answer. We hold each other to a higher standard. We hold each other.
What? You don't take no for an answer? That's pretty terrible. I can't believe she just said that.
Accountable to the things that we said we were going to do long after the mood that we said them in has left us, right? And over time, it shows loyalty within our partners, okay? It shows loyalty within our partners that eventually do become family. And this is something that cannot be duplicated. It cannot be replicated. This is not just a piece of the puzzle. This is the entire puzzle. This is not just an aspect of the game. Culture is the game. And if you don't take this seriously, maybe I need to soften up a little bit. Okay. I'm like, not everybody here is like, but listen.
This is you thinking like you're tough? Is that what this is? Was this supposed to be like tough love? What's happening?
If you're someone who wants to build a massive business here and make a huge impact, you have to understand this, okay? Number four, it's only going to attract the right people. Listen, if you set the bar high, you're going to, let's see, hold on. How do I say this? I actually haven't said this out of my mouth in quite some time. If you set the bar high, you're going to lose the losers.
What did she say? What? If you set the bar high, you'll lose the losers? Yikes. Kenley, yikes. That should have been an inside thought. That shouldn't have been. Oh my God. I feel like this is where toxic elitism kicks in. This isn't motivation. This is coded language for blame shifting. If somebody's struggling, it's not the system. It's because they're lazy, they're unmotivated, or a loser. This is a cult tactic. This is us versus them thinking, which is a hallmark of high control groups. This creates fear of being labeled one of the weak ones. Oh my God, Kenley. Next time, keep that up here or don't, and I'll cover it on my channel.
If you set the bar too low, you're going to lose the winners. I would rather attract a small handful of solid, professional, motivated, encouraged, just go-getters rather than attract a bunch of people, like hundreds of people, where they just treat this business casually, where they're just so accustomed and used to playing small.
Oh my God. Imagine being somebody in her downline that joined just, to be a hobbyist or, oh, I just like being a part of the community. And she's talking about the right people being people that are motivated and are not hobbyists and are professional and ready to take this to the next level. Essentially, imagine being one of those people. They never think about this. I feel like they're so focused on just promoting leaders because that's how, in the majority of these MLM companies, they move up themselves and make more income themselves. And they forget about the people that are the ones that are giving them the income that they are, the people that are losing money.
And on the flip side of that, they're constantly complaining about where their life is at. But what they don't realize is that they've had this bar set so low their entire life. And when you
Okay, now you're what, a life counselor, a life coach? What are we doing? How do you know what people's bar has been set at when it comes to their goals? Talking to, I don't know how many people were on the Zoom. I have no idea. When you're speaking in generics like this, I feel like that is very dangerous because I feel like that's very black and white thinking. And everybody is unique and everybody's goals are different in their life. Everybody's upbringing is different. And I feel like she's just saying these things to try to get to that one person that's like, oh, yeah, I have done that. This is a manipulation tactic. That's what I'm seeing here, in my opinion. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments.
lift that bar, when you set your standards higher, you're going to attract those higher standard motivated people. It may not be as many, but I promise you, you're going to want to put more energy towards that than dragging people that are setting their bar too low. A great culture will make us a magnet for the right people, and it will repel the wrong people. Man,
Fascinating. Were you thinking this when you were emailing DC and, doing the sandwich method, saying something positive and then constructive criticism and whatever else you were doing? Were you thinking about that at this time? Because that seems like the opposite of what you're training here. It seems like you would have, and not that she is, but it seems like you would have categorized DC as a loser, which, let me say again, she absolutely is not. She is a phenomenal human being. You spent time sending her emails with emojis in the title of the email and offering her happy juice and ranting in your stories. And it just seems like that's the opposite of what you're training your people to do, because by your training here, wouldn't you be attracting the right people and have your hands full with attracting the right people? And obviously, DC would not be the person that you would be attempting to recruit, but you sure did spend a lot of time on that. So I find that interesting. And let me also say again, DC is not a loser. Okay. She's a great person. And I've learned a ton from her and I'm very grateful.
I have stories. I'm going to check the time after this training, but I have.
Let me also say, Kenley didn't say DC was a loser. That's just me going through her training. You know what I'm saying?
Stories that I do believe I've shared with, our silvers and above. I don't know if I've shared with all of you guys. If I remember, I will. Honestly, like what I went through in the culture that we had 10 years ago when I first got started in Kayani.
Water filters? Oh, why am I laughing? Because I'm pretty sure y'all know what's coming. Thanks, Alexis.
I listen, I love you guys so much that are on here right now, but I can also guarantee that 50% of you that are on this call right now would not still be here with the culture that I was raised up in when I first started.
I'm surprised you have a downline at all. in my opinion.
Man, the tears that I had. But I wouldn't be this resilient, like, don't give a, like, no F, NFG? Is NFG a thing? If you know,
What is happening? Why can't you just say it?
you know. If you know what that is, you know, right? Like, if I wouldn't be this, like, NFG bulldozer, type of person and individual and leader and partner if it wasn't for that. Okay?
Do you guys see her as a bulldozer at all? I'm not getting that. And that's fine. But she's trying to position herself on this training like she's that kind of a leader, and I'm not catching that vibe. I could be wrong though.
Number 5, it will help you to create a winning or a losing environment. The environment in which you create, because it all starts with you, it determines the passion with which we work. Leaders who create this winning environment create something to believe in, a place of belonging, a purpose to build, and a reason to get out of bed in the morning.
What? A reason to get out of the bed in the morning by joining an MLM that you're paying to be a part of, that the majority of people are losing money? What are you talking about? MLMs love to claim that they provide purpose, but that purpose comes with a required monthly order, constant rank anxiety, and unending guilt if you're not grinding 24/7. And don't even get me started on how people are treated when they start questioning the leader, the systems, the company, the product. Don't even get me started. According to Yanya Lalick, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right. She says cult-like organizations often use love bombing and fabricated purpose to maintain loyalty, even when people are financially losing, which is what we're seeing here. It's the culture, guys.
And a hope for the future and a desire to win. When the environment, this is also from Leaders That Eat Last, such a great book, you guys. When the environment at work is one that meets the basic human needs to live, learn, to feel valued and significant, we do more than just survive, we thrive. And this quote kind of reminds
When the environment at work is one that meets the basic human needs to live, to learn, to feel, imagine thinking that a multi-level marketing company can do that, or that that's the only option to do that. These things are built off of transactional relationships. So the very thought that they could provide somebody's human basic needs through transactional relationships, I think is absolutely vile.
me a little bit about just the powerful topic that Kelly chatted with us about yesterday on the Silver and Above leadership call. If you guys were on that call, you can agree with me. It was phenomenal.
What if they agree with you? Do they get booted from the Zoom? Do they get removed from the chats, from the boards app or a Facebook group? Do they get booted if they don't automatically agree with you? Because you're definitely not giving anybody room to disagree with you in this training.
Are a silver and above, and it's not a call that you prioritize, I don't know what to tell you. It's a culture thing, right? But it's important to bulldoze through this business. It's important to have this NFG, WIT. I'm just going to say it.
I feel like we're about to hear a preschool teacher swear. I feel like that's what we're hearing. Shout out to all the teachers. Y'all are amazing humans. Let's hear it.
Maybe some of you guys don't know what NFG, no fucks given, okay? This NFG and this
Really bulldozed her way through that.
IT, whatever it takes mentality. It's important to have that, but it's also important to find this common ground and this medium, point to where you're also, being vulnerable and you're sharing your heart and you're sharing your story. Because how are you going to create trust within your culture, within your community, within your team, within your environment if you don't take yourself to their level, relate with them and let them know like, hey, I was there too. But this is what I did. This is what we'll do together to push through it. Okay. It's important to have the both. Number 6, if you don't control this, it controls you.
If you don't control the culture, it controls you. Okay. Here's the twist. In MLMs, you're not in control of anything. The upline dictates the tone. the expectations, and even your positivity levels. You're encouraged to suppress critical thought in favor of manufactured unity. And don't even get me started on how these people pitch that they own a business when they are not making any decisions on the products, the pricing, any of the marketing from the corporate end, the hiring, the firing, any of that stuff. They're not doing any of that. And by the way, this is another fallacy. It's called the false empowerment fallacy, where you're told that you're in control of your success, but you're stuck in a structure that only rewards the top 1%. So we've got fallacies, we've got manipulation. The only thing missing is spiritual manipulation, Kenley, but I'm sure you filled that square with those emails to DC.
The bottom line for leaders, this is a quote by Edgar Schein. If you don't, the bottom line for leaders is if they do not become conscious of the cultures in which they are embedded, those cultures will manage them. Cultural understanding is desirable for all of us, but it's essential to leaders if they are to lead.
I don't think Edgar was talking about multi-level marketing companies and using culture to manipulate people to stay in a financial scheme, in my opinion. I don't think that's what Edgar was talking about. I think you're taking this because you're like, oh, this is good. I'm talking about culture. Let's use this. But I bet if we took a deep dive into what Edgar was actually referring to, I bet it would not be about multi-level marketing companies.
So how can you be in control of something? How can you be in charge of something, if you are not in
control, huh? Is that a little Freudian slip there? Love that for us.
Control. I want to actually ask you guys in the chat, for you, what are maybe one or two things that define a strong culture within your team? I'm going to give you guys, I don't know, like 1 or 2 minutes. Read what Brandy said here because I'm sure it's good. The culture and the leadership on this team is why I'm here. The Focus on 5 sold me on the comp plan, but the leadership culture here sold me on this team. Oh, I love that. Not every team is the same. We have something so special, and I'm so excited to bring others into this culture. It feels so good to be proud of where I belong. I love that. When you have each other's back, no negativity. And listen, do negative things happen in this business? Yes. 100%. Welcome to network marketing, y'all. Like, shit happens, okay? And, things that don't make us happy, things that are challenging. I'm actually glad that Suzanne said that because this is something I want to touch on. Have we all heard, positives down, negatives up? Yeah. Well, let me remind you guys, that doesn't mean sidelines. Okay? Negative.
Wait a second, Kenley, I thought that these were business owners. So if they're business owners, they would set their own code of conduct, if you will. You're telling them, excuse me, that doesn't mean sidelines. If you're upset about something, you don't go to sidelines. What? In other words, what she's trying to say is if you're struggling, keep it to yourself. Don't let anybody know unless you're telling your upline. And that way they can re-indoctrinate you, try to get you to do more personal development, listen to more podcasts, get to the next event, or love bomb you to share your story on the next team training so that you stay longer, of course. So when Kenley slipped a few minutes ago and was talking about control, I think that was exactly what she meant.
Also, don't go to your sidelines, okay? I don't care if you have made besties with your sideline, okay? I don't care.
I think you very much do care. That's not community. This is isolation, in my opinion, with what she's talking about here. That's how people stay silent while drowning financially. Did you guys know that according to the Consumer Awareness Institute, over 99% of people in MLMs lose money, and internal toxic positivity rules like this prevent honest discussion about it? Isn't that fascinating?
Do not care. Because if you are speaking negatively about something, about someone, in regards to something of a situation, if there's negative energy going to the side, okay, it's not affecting your business, but it's affecting someone else's business.
Oh.
Okay? So, negative.
Hey, Kenley, did you know that facts are not attacks? They're just facts, kind of like the facts that come from your own company's income disclosure statement. So if you're going to be mad at your company or me. I don't care.
Up to your upline, mentorship, leadership, maybe a mentor that you have outside of this business. Call your mom, okay? Whatever. Positive things stay
Call your dad, you're in a cult.
down and to the side, okay? Negative things happen and it's okay. But I promise you, it's very likely that your leadership has gone through it and we want to help you grow through it. We've gone through it, grown.
No, they just want to make sure that you're not spreading any critical thinking throughout their downline that would impact their paychecks. That's really what she's not telling you here.
Through it, and we want to help you do the same. Encouragement, inspiring action, providing people with tools to win. I love that. Uplifting each other when we're treated equally. Inclusiveness, positivity, held accountable. I love how you guys are all on the same page. I just joined before.
And that's on an echo chamber filled with toxic positivity.
For Salt Lake City Convention, I like when Amare says that they're launching a product. They actually launch it. I love that. That's culture and integrity within like the company you're a part of, right? That's
most MLM companies at their events, I was going to say conventions, they're not all conventions, but at their in-person events, they typically will launch some sort of a new product. Why? Because then all the products or all the distributors that are there are probably going to buy it. It's revenue. And the distributors are probably the biggest customers.
important. Seeing each other's strength and leaning into those. I love this. You guys are all on the same page. That's really cool. That's why I love this team so much.
Oh, you love this team so much because they are a bunch of yes people, it sounds like, in my opinion. And they are just in an echo chamber and repeating the things that you've taught them that we talked about at the beginning of this.
Rolls up hill in leadership, never down. I love that. Cool, cool, cool. Mutual respect, hard work, resilience, family first. Okay, awesome. I love that. And yes, yes, yes to every single bit of that. Okay. I do have some like very simple reminders and things that I want to run through with you guys. And majority of these have already been touched on, right? Please understand that you will attract into your business who you are. Okay.
Okay, so now we've entered the victim blaming and shaming portion of this training. And when I say victim, I mean people that are questioning, people that are financially not benefiting from being a part of her team, because I know they're there. That's what this feels like. You're going to attract into your business who you are. So, what that means is if you're not attracting the right kind of brand partners or whatever she refers to them as distributors, oh, you need to do more personal development. If you are not staying positive, you're not leaving the negativity at the door. You're attracting more negativity because you're being negative. Negative to people in multi-level marketing companies is when you are questioning what the leader is doing, what the company is doing, when you're critically thinking, hey, I'm not making any money doing this. Like, what are we doing here? That's negativity to them. Anything that you are disagreeing with when it comes to the MLM, the products, things like that, that's painted as negativity. That's why they call the anti-MLM movement haters, is because, oh, that's negative. Anybody that is thinking, hey, this isn't right, haters. I'll gladly wear that title if it means getting people out of multi-level marketing. Sure, call me what you want. I don't care. Attitude is everything. Don't be too big to do the small things. Be professional always, yeah, because everything about this Zoom is professional, Kenley, please. Don't just be on time, be early. You will be addressed how you're dressed. Oh, I can't wait for this story. I can't wait for y'all to hear that story. If you treat your business like a business, it will pay you like a business, except it's not going to. And the fact is, this might hurt your feelings, Kenley. Being an Amare distributor, you're not a business owner. And the majority of people are not going to be paid for, definitely not for like they're owning their own business. No, 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 no. And how do I know that? Because of Amare's own income disclosure statement.
You we used to say like, listen, you're going to attract who you like you're excuse me, hold on. You're going to be addressed how you are dressed. Here's one story. I remember showing up to, and this is more in regards to like in person, right? We can be comfy cozy, for team calls when we are like chatting right now. But I remember we used to have, what time is it? Before I start storytelling. Okay. I remember we used to have monthly regional events here in San Antonio. It was wild, okay? And we would fill these hotel rooms with, at minimum 100 people, but usually close to 300 people actually, listen, every Tuesday, okay? We did weekly overviews in person where we would have at least 100 people. In our monthly regionals, we had about 300 people, 3 to 500 people for our monthly events. And I showed up to listen. My sponsor in Upline at the time was like a
How many times are you going to say, listen, let's just get into it?
dictator. Okay, so there was a lot going on.
I'm sorry, did she say dictator?
But there's so many things that I learned from him and his significant other at the time. So many things that
Yikes.
I've learned, but also things that I have also been able to learn and not want to do with my team, right? So I showed up to this regional event with a leather high-waisted pencil skirt that went below my knees. Okay, very
Cute.
classy. I had a black Team Fusion shirt on with just a white Team Fusion logo that said Team Fusion underneath, and
Okay.
I had a statement necklace. My hair was all done, and my makeup was looking good, and I had red bottoms on. Okay, so I'm training at this regional event. We all show up an hour early to start setting up. I walk in the door. He looks me up and down in like disgust. And
You're telling this as a motivational story to your downline? The audacity.
I'm like, hi, we ready? I'm excited. And he's like, you're wearing a t-shirt. And I was like, business cash representing the team. Like, I got it tucked in. Like, no. And he's like, no. And he's like, you're lucky there's a mall right there, though. Don't worry, I'll set up. Go get yourself a blazer to put on top. You guys, who would be like, NFG, I'm out, deuces? Who would say, like, drop a 2 in the chat for deuces if you would just be out? Honestly and truthfully, like, just drop a 2, drop a 2.
Oh my God.
Lots of 2s. Would anybody, I would have died. Would anybody have been like pissed but also understanding? Drop a 1.
Those are two very different things.
Okay, Carly. All right, just Carly. That's okay. Okay. Miss Hudson, anybody else?
No, because
Kelsey,
that's not right.
Robin. And I was in such a rush. I went into like the first, I forget what store it was. It was stupid expensive. And I ended up having to buy like a $200 blazer.
But mentions that she was wearing red bottom shoes, which were, I guarantee you, more than $200.
It was nice though. I actually still have it in my closet. I should wear that and reminisce on it. But
Oh my God.
I was gutted and I was pissed off. But it was in those moments where I was like, dang, okay, if I want to make millions of dollars here, and if I want to build a massive business, I gotta show up more professionally. And so I hated him, but at the same time, I kind of loved that. And, some of those very harsh moments that I've dealt with in business have built me into the leader that I am today.
Oh my God. So let me get this straight, Kenley. This man looked you up and down and made you buy a $200 blazer, and you're telling this story like it's a badge of honor and not what it actually is, a giant red flag. Being shamed into spending money you don't have to meet a fake professionalism standard, that's not leadership, it's compliance training. And that's really vile. I can't believe that guy did that to you. And you're sitting here telling your team this story like it's a positive thing. Oh, the cognitive dissonance. She resents the experience, but she's spinning it as necessary growth. This is classic rationalization to justify mistreatment. Growth does not need to be painful.
And I just think that so many of those moments that are like, ooh, like when people tell us no, ooh, when our closest friends and family are like, oh my gosh, or when you have that very first customer who doesn't like happy juice, it's like, and it just like takes you off your feet.
And why is that? Because people in MLM are taught that if somebody doesn't agree or doesn't like something with the MLM company, the products, etc., that's negativity. So it's confusing to somebody that joins as a distributor and they have a family member that's saying, "Hey, I don't know, this doesn't seem right, or I don't like that, that's expensive." That reaction is because it's confusing to those people because they've been taught that it's negativity, and it's not.
And like flips you upside down. Listen, it's those moments. And
no wonder she reacted the way that she did when DC was covering her manipulation and her exploitation of her children. And why am I saying that? If you're using your children to sell an MLM product, that is exploiting your children. That's what that is.
Going through those moments and those challenges that are going to build you into who you need to become to lead a massive team and organization. Like, if it stops you in your tracks for someone to say like, "Hey, go buy a blazer," because you're training in front of hundreds of people and you need to show up more professional, you're never going to build a 7-figure team here.
Oh my God. Listen, if your business requires being humiliated and financially coerced into fitting somebody else's aesthetic, maybe it's not a business worth building. Maybe it's not a business at all. And in my opinion, Amare is not different than any other MLM, and I consider them to be commercial cults. Freedom should not come with a dress code, especially not one enforced by someone who profits from your team volume, especially not a man looking a woman up and down and talking to her the way that this man talked to Kenley. That's not right, Kenley. That's not right. And it's really gross that you are saying that that's okay, even though you hated it at the time, and you're making that a standard with your team on this Zoom. Are you going to tell people in your downline to go buy a $200 jacket? Is this you giving yourself the space to be able to say these things to your downline and them to go, "Oh, I was on that training. This is what she's doing. Oh my God, I'm going to grow. I'm going to have a 7-figure business at Amare," when the majority of them will never achieve that? Wow.
And that's just, I'm just speaking truth, okay?
Except you're not.
So I just wanted to share that story, and we're kind of running out of time because I have some important things obviously to share with you after this slide. But there's so many stories where you guys would be like, "How are you still here?" Okay. And listen,
Because you're making all this money off of your team. That's very easy to figure out.
never blame your sponsor. Never blame your upline. I have not had a sponsor. My sponsor was terminated just because of integrity. He was terminated like 8.5 years ago, y'all. You don't need a sponsor to have success in this business and to grow.
So they don't need to be on your trainings then, right? They don't need to be controlled by you. They don't need to be going and buying a $200 blazer. They don't need to be listening to anything that you're saying. They don't need you then, right? Oh, wait. That just sounds good. You don't actually mean that.
Something really, really beautiful alongside the right people. Stay positive, leave any and all negativity at the door. Your attitude creates your altitude. It is everything in this business, okay?
Pinterest quotes, how original. Kenley, I expected more from you, quite honestly.
Don't be too big to do the small things, or you'll eventually be too small to cash the big checks. You always want to make sure that you're professional in everything that you do. And don't just be on time, be early. I mean, this is a business. Angela Lucetti was the first one on here. She was like 12 minutes early to workshop Wednesday. I had to let her, kind of hang out in the waiting room for a couple minutes before letting her and everybody else in. And you know what? It's because she's a business owner and she understands, running a business, and
there's this account on TikTok, and it's a corporate account, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, and it's corporate speak, and it just reminds me of this video. I'm probably not going to be able to find it, but the supervisor was saying, "Hey, I noticed that you weren't clocked in before 8 a.m. And she's like, "Yeah, because my hours they start at 8 and I'm here till 5, and those are my hours." And she's like, "Well, everybody else gets on early. Everybody else shows up early. They are putting in extra work." And the the employee said, "Oh, did you want me to adjust my work hours? I'd be happy to do that if there's things that I need to do within a certain window of time and my hours aren't providing that." And the corporate person was like, it's her playing both characters, by the way. The corporate person was like, "Oh, well, clearly you don't want to move up in this company." And she was like, "Well, my hours are my hours. So if we need to adjust that, I'm totally fine with that. And is there a problem with my performance within my work hours?" I feel like that's what this is giving. "Oh, she was on 12 minutes early. Why? You weren't even prepared when you started this, Kenley. You spent like a minute or 2 minutes and 17 seconds, I think, something like that, switching around your slides. So you want people to get on 12 minutes early. You're going to shout this person out, but you yourself were not prepared for this Zoom. Make that make sense."
Lives a life of professionalism. And that's exactly how she's treating her Amare business as well. She was early. And she is someone who probably has all the links to the calls saved. She has them in her calendar, repeated weekly, and does not need to be reminded.
How long has she been in and what rank is she? And what income is she making, if any? I bet she's part of the over 99% that is losing money. I bet she's not even making $1,200 for the year before expenses.
Is that how you run your business? Right? Be early. Don't just be on time. Because listen, if you're just on time, when you start attracting great people on your team in your business, they're just going to be on time because they're following what you're doing. They're not going to follow what you say you're going to do. They're going to follow what you do. And if you're just on time, everyone else is just going to be on time. And before you know it, all of our calls are 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late because we're waiting for everyone else that's just on time to trickle in.
Or, now this is a wild take because everybody has different schedules. You could just record it ahead of time and put it out. Oh, but then that doesn't feed your ego. Right, Kenley? If you don't have a certain amount of people on the Zoom, it probably doesn't make you feel really good. It feels like you're probably wasting your time, I would imagine. Record it so that people can watch it whenever they want to. Why does it have to be at the same time and everybody comes together? That's to make you feel better. That's what that's about.
Right? If you treat your business like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. All right. And then lastly, just know, you guys, you will attract into your business who you are. So if you're wanting to attract bold leaders, people that are motivated, people that are excited to help people, people that just are just joyful and just a happy person outside of business, like how are you showing up on social media? Because exactly how you show up, and even if you're hardly showing up, you're hardly going to have people want to join your team. But if you're showing up in what in how you want to if you're showing up as the person you want to attract, that is who you'll eventually bring into your business. Okay?
Oh my God, this one is especially manipulative. If your downline isn't growing, it's not the comp plan's fault. It's not the company's fault. It's not your leader's fault. Oh, it's yours. This is how MLMs offload systemic failure into individual reps, keeping them buying and grinding instead of asking questions. Amare's own structure is based on binary volume legs, which means the majority of reps will forever be stuck supporting somebody else's income. That's how that works. All right. So what we watched wasn't a leadership call. In my opinion, it was a masterclass in manipulation, from the elitist language to the shame tactics to the fake empowerment. This is how MLMs keep people hooked. This is how MLMs keep people financially broke and believing that culture is the real compensation. Now, Kenley, before you start sending me emails at midnight like you did DC, please know that this is all backed up by facts and statistics, many from your own company. So if you're mad, be mad at your company. Your spiritual manipulation will not work with me, and I will turn it into monetized content to help people not join your downline. And I think you kind of already knew that. I think that's why you probably had me blocked before I even knew who you were. What you did to DC was wrong, and what you're doing in this training is atrocious. You're in a commercial cult, in my opinion, and you're doing more harm than you're doing good. I hope you get out of MLM soon. And for more information on the situation, check out DC's channel and the 2 videos referenced in the video description. If you've ever felt like you were the problem in your MLM, it's not you. It's the model. It's designed to reward the top of the pyramid off of the backs of the people losing money. for the culture. If you love today's video, feel free to hit the like button, or if you're Kenley or somebody in her downline, hit the thumbs down. I do not care. Drop a red flag in the comments if you saw so many red flags from this video, and subscribe for more breakdowns that shine a light on these shady training calls. And Kenley, I hope you have the day you deserve.